working with our teaching teams is a really important part of what we do, and certainly the instructors in our labs, our demonstrators, what we call our teaching associates, it's more problematic because it's much easier just to validate something, to follow a set of instructions, generate a data set. But when students have to design elements of the prac and think about what they're actually doing, they're asking more difficult and challenging questions of our teaching associates. So bringing them on board and providing them with the training, asking them about what their experience was as an undergraduate science student, and to get them thinking about sort of approaches we want to inculcate is a really important part of the process.
In chemistry, the way that an inquiry-oriented learning class would take place is usually talking about a 3-hour lab session, either 3 or 4 hours. Sounds like a long time, but when you're trying to get students to actually design the exercise themselves, collaborate with each other, stop and think, then it does take the time. And so 3 hours might sound like a lot, but it's not. So one of the really important things that we've found for this type of learning activity is the students have to be prepared. The way that we've tried to facilitate that in chemistry is we have a 2-stage process. First of all, they watch a pre-lab video where I will help them out with some of the new terminology that they might need and drop a few hints about some of the things that they need to be thinking out before they come to class. We then try to reinforce that by just getting them to do a small quiz. They don't always realise it at the time, but we're dropping a lot of hints there as well, and hopefully they start picking up on those hints as they then go throughout the 3-hour experience. We've also found that having time markers throughout that 3 hours, so letting them know that they should be finished a particular stage by 3 o'clock, is a really important way of making sure they keep focused on what it is they're supposed to be doing and getting out the door by the time the class is scheduled to finish.
In biology, we've introduced these inquiry pracs in a number of different ways. For example, a prac might run for 2 or 3 weeks, it might run for a semester. For the 2 or 3 week prac in microbiology, the scenario is that the coordinator of the unit, who is me, receives a white powder in the post, and it kind of mirrors the early 2000s scenarios around bioterrorism. That unit coordinator then starts to develop symptoms of a particular disease. Now for students, they have to analyse what that powder is. So it incorporates elements of reflective thought, application of content knowledge, so the material that's been delivered in lectures and they've read about in the textbook and that they might have been assessed on in online pracs in Moodle. And they have to bring that together with deductive reasoning to work out what that powder is. They learn the techniques, sterile streaking, developing cultures, and then over several weeks, actually identify the powder. I can say that the outcome is resolved, but along the way, they've learnt lots of new things.